How much time? Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank everybody for joining the Heal for Real podcast. This is our very, very first episode. We apologize, first of all, of course, our first episode, we had some technical difficulties, but we want to thank everybody for joining again. Some may be wondering why and what brought this about. Well, I didn't even realize until a few minutes ago that this day, 3 years ago, I made the decision that I was going to take control of my life and to go and seek help to heal for real, which took me back to my childhood trauma. And with doing that, after returning, I didn't recognize the change in myself. What did you do? How did you do it? And how long did it take you? What made you want to do it? So I've received many questions. So in doing that, I first took off and wrote a self-guided healing journal. And after that, I decided that I felt like I needed to do more. And after doing that, I decided, and I tussled with it for a while because for most that don't know, I'm shy. This is all new to me. But if you know me, you know that everything I do, it is God-led. So I fought it for a long time, for as long as I possibly could. And God came to me and said, this is it, to move forward with it. So I decided to do it. When I decided to do it, like I said, many people reached out to me, but I wanted to start with my sister because I know that she had struggled. And when I say my sister, let me clarify that today. To women, and I say sister, I don't usually carry that lightly, but this is my blood sister. This is my DNA. This is my real sister. So if I was going to start with anybody, I was going to start with my sister. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my first guest tonight, which is Charlette Walker. So Charlette, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Charlette Walker. I am a mom of 2, a grandmother of 3, an aunt of many, a sister of 5, I'm sorry. I am sorry. 5. And I'm a hairstylist, entrepreneur. I love God. I love people. My weakness is little children and old people. I love to serve. Serve. I love to give. Even if it's my last. So, that's it.
Okay. So, we'll start tonight, and because this is a very touchy subject, and I want to let people know that it's not rehearsed. I did learn some of this, probably some of what you're going to hear tonight, some of probably what I haven't heard, I learned about probably 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time if it gets to be too sensitive. I have told my sister that she can share. And if you notice that the title is The Residue of the Unhealed Wound. And when I say that, well, before we get into that, I want to ask, I'd like to ask you, Charlette, what does healing look like for you? And why is it so important now? What made you want to choose now to start this healing journey?
Healing to me is being free of anything that's holding me down, holding me back from doing anything. I just want to be free, my mind free, my spirit free. I just want to be happy and live a happy life and not worry about what is to come or what's behind me. I just want to be free.
Okay. So the reason why this is probably very sensitive because, like I said, we are sisters. We share the same DNA. However, we did live two different type of experiences. And when I speak of that from a father's perspective. Charlette actually grew up in the house with my dad. My dad is deceased now. There's nothing we can do about that. Both of our moms are deceased. Our moms were friends. They, knew each other. I am elder to Charlette. However, my dad was still involved with our mothers and back and forth. For so long, I did not know a lot the impact of everything that had taken place, how it impacted not only just my sister, but it impacted my other two brothers. We do have, another older brother, and I'm sure that he has been impacted as well. That's why the foundation is so important. But like I said, I wanted to reach back because not only I want my sister to heal, I want her to be free. I got tired of seeing her be disappointed, being sad, being just not feeling the way that I feel like she deserved to be, that she deserved to live her life. So for the first time ever, I want Charlette to share with you, and like I said, with as comfortable as you feel, and talk about this trauma and, pretty much why we are here today. And why you feel like that this trauma is a part of these unhealed wounds and why it has impacted your life today.
Okay, well, let me say this. I grew up in a household with an alcoholic father, a mental abusive father, a physical abusive father. When things didn't go his way, he always lashed out on either my mom or myself. When he would leave, I used to watch my mom get beat. Like, beat bad. So if you know, back in the 70s, that's what they did. They thought that's the way up to control their woman, was to put their hands on them. I saw it a lot as a child, and I should not have seen that. And just with, I'm going to say this, it's been times that my dad would get drunk, come home, because my mom didn't cook the food right. And he decided he wanted to beat her. And we heard and we watched. And I used to always say, no more. And that's where I didn't get a chance to be a child, because I was the oldest of my 3 siblings in the house. And that's why I'm so protective till this day of anybody. If I see anything happen, the first thing I want to do is help. Because at that young age, I needed help. I couldn't help my mother. So fast forward, I had a type of dad that I could go outside. If I went outside and a group of guys, this is when I was in my street, and he would say, you knew them, and he would come in the house and beat me. And he said, tell them, please don't walk down the street. It would be a time that he would time me to get home, and it used to take me at least 30 minutes to walk home. And he would time me. If I was a minute late, He went upside my head as soon as I walked through the door. When I turned 13, I remember when you called and my dad used to hang up. And my mom used to say, Ray is different according to how he felt in his attitude. Okay? She said, Ray, you know that's your daughter. Why are you doing that? And when she did that, she took her for you, she got beat. Because she wanted him to know that you have a child. You can't do that to her. And these are some of the things that you didn't know. You know? He would go out, come home, and I'm assuming he would your house, and things didn't go well, he would come home and want to beat her. We had to listen to that and hear that and endure that. So when, like I said, I got older, once I started working, that was my way out. But I was still scared for my mom because she was in the house by herself with him. And if things didn't go right, who was there to protect her? Because my mom wasn't a fighter. She was not a fighter at all. And she was very quiet. She didn't want to let anybody know that this was going on at home. But one thing, our Uncle Bill, he knew. And he used to say, if he put his hands on you, I'm going to drive up in. And this was his own brother. And I'm going to deal with him myself. So she didn't want anybody to, she loved him so much, but she didn't want anybody to hurt him either. Right. But we endured a lot in the house. When we actually found, good, the burden is off of me. And not knowing, now that you came in the picture and we know about you, it got worse. It got worse. But again, I was so happy. Even when you came around, it was like Christmas. Because then my dad act right. He didn't drink. We knew when he drank, we knew what was going to happen. I remember Christmases, my daddy used to have his friends there, and he would always pull out his shotgun. He would run us with the shotgun. Cold outside. Because this is what I dealt with. And that's why now, as a woman, a full-grown woman, I married someone, he wasn't physically abusive, but he was mentally abusive. And that's why I'm in a flight. I run. When someone's yelling, I don't like it. Because yelling means you want to fight. Or now you're going to put your hands on me. So what I do, I run. As far as relationships, I try my best to speak to you like I want to be spoken to. When you yell, I'm going to yell back. If you coming at me like you want to fight, my dad used to tell me, while beating me, not with the belt, with his hands. You know how you say you go into somebody's body? I'm your daughter. And you're going to go to my body with punches. And he used to say, it's best for me to do it than some nigga on the street. And I always thought, your dad is supposed to protect you from anybody. My dad didn't protect me. my mom did her best to protect me. A woman that was afraid to protect me. And she used to always say, Shaw, don't worry, you're going to be all right. And I used to always say, Mom, because my dad used to go weeks at a time. I got a job at 14 years old because we had no food in the house. My mom used to take all her money and pay the bills. So the only thing I knew, my mom used to, and I mentioned it at the funeral, she used to say, just get some chicken. We get chicken, rice, bread, eggs, and stuff like that. And she would make a meal. I told you at the funeral that my mom taught me how to make shit. I know how to survive. But, and I'm going to take a good part of that, although I went through some things as a small child, but it made me strong as a woman, but it also made me mean. It made me strong to let me know, Charlotte, you can survive and you'll be all right. You're going to be all right. Because it's many, many nights, all I had was God. I used to say, God, just take it away. I even prayed, God, let my dad die so my mom can have peace. It's some other things that my dad did. I don't want to share, protect me. And then sometimes I used to think he was obsessed with me. When I turned 35, my mom and I, we used to just sit there and talk, and we used to sneak off and go get something to eat. And she says, I said, Mom, I just want to share something with you. And I told her, and she said, I always wonder why you would do that. And I said, I didn't know how to do it because I knew you couldn't do anything because you was afraid of him. And it made me a strong person. I'm just not always put up a hard exterior. Because if you show that you're weak and you're soft, people take advantage of you.
Now, let me pause for a second. You keep saying that it made you a strong person. Do you think that you were forced to survive in it? Because sometimes we mistake being strong, and because being forced to deal with something doesn't always necessarily means that you were strong in it, because like we said, look at the residue of it all. I will say it is absolutely hard for me to sit and hear it all. I didn't experience this with him. I did not know, and it's like when we speak about our dad, it's like we're talking about two different people, because I don't have those memories. I don't have those experiences. My life was different because, from what I'm told, my mother made the choice. And that's what it sounds like for me. Just now listening to both sides of the story. My mother was very young. She was younger than my dad. And after having me, she decided to move on, and she wanted to see somebody else. And she ended up getting married. She married another man. My dad never got over that. He done a whole lot of stuff. For me to sit, it's so hard for me to hear it. and even if any of my family's on here listening, they probably like, it's mind blowing, because when you say he was obsessed with you, he was very protective of me, very protective, so protective that my mother had to like put her foot down. It was like, listen, he didn't want my grandmother to touch me. He didn't want my great grandmother, because, you know, they were back and forth to Amber, you know, we're from Virginia. So he didn't want anybody to touch me. Fridays when he got off from work, I was his princess. He'd get off from work, he'd come there and dress me up with my tights and ruffled dresses and stuff, and we would go to dinner, and I wasn't allowed, because another thing, my dad was a guy that if you were not, and when I say this, people don't believe me, but not a pretty woman. He just did not like. If you were not a light-skinned woman, as he would say back then, a red bone, then you were not considered to be a pretty woman. So for me, I wasn't allowed to go outside in the summertime because he was afraid that I would get dark. And my mother would say, if she goes outside and get dark, that's my black baby. I love my baby, right? But for me to hear that now, even though, like when I reached out to you to call, they had gone through a spurt where they had stopped speaking. My mother didn't want him around and things like that. But he would still sneak and bring our little brother, Junior was a little boy, and bring him to our house. I knew that there were times that he would come and he would stay there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever, and then he would go. But my mother, he didn't beat my mother, beat or fight my dad. I just heard stories of what she would do, but it sounded like to me that when she would get tired of him being there or whatever she wanted to go back to doing whatever she wanted to do, she would ask him to leave, but then he would come home and retaliate on you guys. But I do remember my mom telling your mom, and you'd have to know my mother, and she was not, she didn't sugarcoat anything. And she would say, Linda, don't let that, you know what, put his hands on you, hit him back. So she was not, and your mom was not a fighter. You know, my mom was, yeah, she's going to fight. But it used to bother me, and I think I recognized that something wasn't quite right. Like y'all said, when I came around, he was different, right? I think it was one time who he was talking to, or which household he was in or something, because I was pregnant with my son, and he had come over and he was going to buy a car. He was going to buy me a car, so we went looking for a car. And he started to tell me, and at the time, this was getting ready to be my husband. I was pregnant with my son, just getting ready to marry my kid's father. And he started to tell me what I better not do, what I this, what I that. And I was like, hold it. Hold it. Who are you talking to? I'm a grown woman. You're not going to talk to me like that. And I remember him saying, and we joke and we say it still today, it was like, you ain't got to be so damn nasty about it. Because that was one of his favorite lines. You ain't got to be so damn nasty about it. Whenever you say something back to him, that was his favorite line. Mm-hmm. And so after that, we got home and he told my mom, he was like, I can't believe that. She said, my mother says, you better be glad that that's all. So I recognized that. And then another thing that really bothered me was when Mom Linda, she had to sneak to go to college. She had to lie about working overtime because he was that jealous. He did not want her to better herself. He did not want her to further her education. I remember us being excited when she got her bachelor's degree because, yeah, we can toot her horn. She had her doctorate, okay? So, but she had to sneak and do this. I remember trying to plan, us trying to plan a party when she got her bachelor's degree. That was a whole big mess for him because he was just that jealous. But he didn't show me all of this. Like I'm some of this stuff, like I said, is hard for me to hear because I don't know this. He never beat me. He never, as far as raised his voice, that was the only conversation that we've ever had when he was saying to me, but it was very mild tone, but he was telling me what I wasn't going to do and things like that. So I never experienced that. So when you told me that, and I was wondering why, even though you say that you was happy to find out that you had a sister, I just always have felt like something is not right. Like, what's going on here? Something is not right, and I just didn't know. And I remember standing at the casket when my dad died. And at that time, we had started to get extremely close. He would call my job every morning. Just would call him he loved Boney James was when he playing music, and every day he called tell me that he's making a deal. But when I remember standing at the casket and saying, I wish I had gotten to know him. And you were so cold. And you looked at me, you said, you didn't miss anything. And that stuck with me for such a long time, because for me, I was like, but y'all had a chance to kind of grow up, and he would come and, when he came, spend time with my mother, whatever. And, he would buy me some, but, make no mistake, when he came there, yeah, he came and, he gave my mom, but my mom was a hardworking single mom. And she, she took care of me, but that stuck with me even to this day. And I was like, why did she say that? And, and I sat, even when my dad died, I didn't watch. It was a different type of mourning with my stepmom. She didn't really mourn. It was like a sense of, I can breathe now. And then I remember at a wedding rehearsal, we have pictures of my mom and your mom sitting there together. My mom saying that she had been dreaming about my dad. My dad had been visiting her, because no doubt in my mind that I believe that my mom still very much loved my dad, because I think she suffered a long time after that, for not, staying, with my dad for whatever reason. But your mom looked at her and said, well, I'm glad he's visiting you, because I don't want to see him. And this was not, we talking about 2014. And she still was feeling that way, you know what I mean? But I just did not know. But like you're sharing your story now, we can see with our brothers how this has spilled over to them. Yep. This is like a generation curse. And for me, I tried to reach our little brother. But when I tell you, he is so much like, not like what I remember, but he is so much like what you're telling me what our dad was to y'all. And he has voiced some things about being angry about finding out about me. And I was like, I just didn't know. But for a long time, I do know that our little brother did not care for me, because he was like, where did she come from? Why is she here? He loves her. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you were the favorite. You were the favorite. You were the favorite. Make no mistake about it, know. But I say all this to say that it's not much, and it's not like I'm giving up on to do to reach out and to help our older brother and our baby brother. The middle one, a lot of compassion in both of our hearts for him. Mm-hmm. But for me, I won't rest. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight. I won't rest until my sister, until you are healed from it all. Like I said, it's the healing journey is nasty. It's ugly. It's snots. It's crying. It's up one day, down the next day. And for me, I was a hot mess. I can sit here now, and if you experienced me anytime before 3 years ago, I was a hot mess. I can say it now. Let me apologize. If you encountered me any of that time, I was a hot mess. So somebody around here could help me. I had to go away. I had to go all the way to Florida, and God knows, and they're probably on here now. I had a team of specialists. They were very good. I don't know if maybe, and I'll throw some names out there. If Marvin McManus is on there, if Brenda Bragg is on there, if Island is on there, if Jasmine is on there, there was a team that had to work with Tracy. Because when I got there, because for me, like you, I felt like I was strong because I was hiding. I had been masking it. And I had Marvin that say, "Oh no, Missy, I'm gonna break into that right there. That little persona that you think that you came down here that you gonna hide and you gonna." And I made up in my mind, and I tell people all the time, I made up in my mind. I said, I wanted to heal from it all. I didn't have, my trauma wasn't your trauma, but I had trauma. And so once I made up in my mind that that's what I wanted to do, I promise you, the feeling of the freeness, because, you know, even though I didn't experience what you experienced, what I did experience, and this has nothing to do with single moms. This has nothing to do with single moms. This has nothing to do with somebody who is now doing the best they could, that's raising their children in a one-parent household. But for me, and then how we were raised, I just feel like that I would have been different had I had my dad in the home, right? I thank God that I had a grandfather that I never had, which my dad did not like. He did not like it one bit because my grandfather stepped in he was like my dad. But through all of my trauma in my life, through all of my molestation from my stepdad, I was angry because if I had my dad in the house, I wouldn't have had to go through all that. That would have been something that I would not had to have healed from. So I had to heal from that. But I say all that to say, you can do it. I know that you can do it. Is it going to take work? It's going to take commitment. But when you get tired, I tell people all the time, you're tired is you're tired. And I got tired. And I used to say sometimes, I get tired. I walk past the mirror. Sometimes I just can't even stand. But see, what I thought I went to get healing from. This is not about me. This is all about you. And I want you, like I said, to heal from it. But I do know, I want to say this. I remember my stepmother used to say to you, Shaw, you're never going to have a healthy relationship, meaning with your marriage or, with your significant other, because of the relationship that you lacked with our dad. I believe that wholeheartedly because I know, as your sister, I know what you desire. But like you said, sometimes that hard protective shell is still there. Because you're in fight or flight mode all the time. Like, yeah, you're soft, you're sensitive when certain things happen. But when you see things that put you in that familiar area, that reminds you, go 0 to 100 real fast. So, like I said, I want to see you, heal. And I guess I done gave it away now because I was going to ask you, how do you think? And I can still ask you that. How do you think with dealing with that, how has that impacted you in the dating world or in the, with being married? Because, you were married. How has that impacted you?
Well, from the marriage aspect, from seeing my mom being married and seeing what my dad used to do with my mom, I would never deal with a man that was married. I don't see how people can do it because I was once married, and it's so funny that, when you're with someone, they always, what I want to say, I can't say this on loud. I was going to say something, but I can't say that. But I just have a different outlook on what I'm looking for or what I deserve. Okay. I deserve to be happy, and the person that I'm with deserves to be happy. I now am open to sit down and have a regular conversation without yelling. Because I grew up with the yelling. That was communication. But now I'm 50 plus years old. I don't got time listening if we're yelling. So now I'm to the point that if you're yelling, I'm going to sit there and listen to you. But I'm boiling though. Mm-hmm. I'm boiling. And what I'll say is, I'm going to talk to you later. Mm-hmm. It's not me flying or running. Mm-hmm. It's me saying, I'm going to give you some time. Mm-hmm. Because if I say what I really want to say, I'm to the point I'm going to hurt your feelings. Like you're hurting me, mm-hmm. I want to hurt you. And I want words hurt, mm-hmm. and they stick forever.
So you always in retaliation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I've learned now I don't have to be in that mode anymore. I'm learning that just have a conversation. You have to teach the person that you're with. If the person doesn't take heed after you constantly keep telling them, then that's not the person for you because he's not listening. That's how I feel. Because if I can listen to you and how you want me to treat you or how you want me to handle you, I'm listening. And I'm going to make sure I do what you're saying. Because a lot of times you can say, I don't like how you said that, Charlette. Mm-hmm. Well, how did I say it? Well, you say, you're going to do this, da. You're grown. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what you're going to do, what you should do. You can say, well, on this hand, maybe you can do it this way and break it down, in layman's terms, Mm-hmm. So I've just learned that it takes a lot of work with relationships, situationships, because I desire to be a wife. I am a wife. Mm-hmm. And manipulating me, mm-hmm. we probably would still be married. And we would probably been married for 30 years. Mm-hmm. I was married for 15 mm-hmm. years. And I was not happy. I was so busy pleasing him, and then I watched how my mom was with my dad. She endured a lot. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's a wife. Because a marriage is going to tell a story. Right. They have ups and downs. I'm not going to say that it was always bad between them two. Mm-hmm. They had some good times, But I just remember the bad outweighed the good for me. Because I was a small child, teenager, so taking on all of this stuff that happened. Right. And I used to look at my mom, I'm like, how do you forgive him? Mm-hmm.
Glad you brought that up.
How? How do you forgive him? And that's one thing my mother, she was a God-fearing woman, and she used to always say, God loved us all, even through our mess. Mm-hmm. Even mm-hmm. through our mess. Absolutely. He loved us all. So I looked up to my mom because my mom, I thought she was just the smartest woman in the world. So that's how I took my marriage. My ex, he was doing his thing. And I was at home with the kids. I worked all the time, to make sure that everybody was good. I never stopped to think, was I good? Right. And no, I wasn't good. And I used to tell my mom, I said, Mom, do you think he cheating on me? She said, well, Charlotte. And my mom, she didn't sugarcoat anything. She didn't get in the middle of my relationship or my marriage or anything. She used to say, Charlotte, if I told you, what are you going to do? I said, say less. You just gave me my answer. I went and prayed. I said, God, if you give me, because I was supposed to be gone at 7 years of marriage. Mm-hmm. I wasn't supposed to last that long. Because I had an opening. Mm-hmm. I said, God, give me one more opening. I promise you, I'm going to bust that door wide open and I'm gone. And that happened. My ex thought that he could continue to do it because he knew I wasn't going to leave. Because he knew we were up around each other. So we knew each other. He knew my family. Mm-hmm. And when I actually left, he was like, I can't believe you're going to leave.
Yeah, because he took advantage of the learned behavior.
Yeah. So when I went to go get my divorce, it only took me 4 months to get my divorce. Mm-hmm. He was like, "You must know somebody there. How is it supposed to be? It's supposed to take a year. Blah 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 blah." And I told him, I said, "Well, you don't worry about it." I said, because God got his hands on me. And he got my hands on everything. When I tell you I didn't have anything, not a dime. I went to work for 2 weeks, saved my money up. He had money in the bank because we refinanced the house, and he was walking around being big time. I went and wrote me a check for $10,000. I worked 2 weeks. I went and got me an apartment, furnished it, everything. So she saved me. I said, I need a place for 30 days so I can get me a place, because we had houses, businesses, and everything in our name, in both our names. So it was hard for me to get something because my name was still attached to him. Right? So once I got my place, he couldn't believe it. I went and filed for the divorce. He followed me every day, went to the courthouse, stood in front of the car, and I said, "If you don't get out of my way, I'm going to hit you." He said, "You're not going to hit me because the police was there." I put it in reverse, and I got up.
That's the rain.
Yeah, that's the rain.
That's the rain.
Because you can't stop me now, because God has given me the opening. Mm-hmm. And I know God does use.
He had already broken the covenant. So.
Yes. So with that being said, I just learned how to be more vocal, open. I share not too much, because if you share too much, men will take advantage.
Okay. Pause right there. That's the next thing I wanted to ask you before you go any further. How important, or have you, I guess it's a two-part question, how important do you think it is to share your experiences with your current, or when you decide to start dating, or if you know, as you're starting to date, do you think that you will, or have you in the past shared your past experiences? And I'm only answering it first.
Well, it all depends on where we're going.
Okay.
If it's serious, I'm going to share it. Okay. And serious means it's marriage. Okay. I'm not talking about we're dating for a couple of months and then I'm going to share what's been going on with me. You know, I'm not going to do that, because a lot of times men tend to throw it back in your face. I don't want you to throw it back in my face, because I'm sharing something that's personal and intimate about me with you. And if you're going to throw it back in my face, that's going to hurt me even more. And there's no way that you can come back from that, because that means I can't share anything else with you.
And the reason why I ask that is because I think sometimes it allows what they're dating. So those days that you're feeling down, or I know for me, for a long time, I would say, oh, I was molested, and that was it. It wasn't until my last husband that I really opened up, and I gave the whole story about me being molested. And I'm glad that I did, because it allowed, he knew how to treat me. He was very genuine. He was very sensitive to certain things about me. He was very watchful, you know, if I looked a certain way, if I done, are you okay? What's wrong? He was concerned about what made me feel uncomfortable, because he knew what I had gone through. So that's why I asked you that, because sometimes, you know, the person that you're dating, he may not know that mind you or put you in a familiar area that you were in with your dad. So if they don't know, and I get what you're saying, it's not something that you should discuss on the first date. I mean, I don't agree with that. So, you know, that was one of the, you know, reasons why, you know, I asked you that. The next thing I wanted to ask you was, where are you with, because And I'm just learning now, so I'm telling you, I've been feeling some type of way since I found out about it, and I was probably more nervous about this interview with you, even though we talked about it. But where are you with the forgiveness of it all, forgiving your dad?
Well, I learned...
Our dad. I said your dad.
Well, yeah. You know how we talk. Your daddy, my daddy. But I can go dig him up.
Okay, you said I have to. Where are you? Have you?
Yeah.
Are you working on it, or?
No, I forgave him because I'm more vocal. I've shared things with you. Because at first I didn't, because I was upset with him. Excuse me. And then when you was telling me your dad, Dad, he always spoke highly of you. I was like, really? Even when he passed, people would say, oh my God, he spoke so highly of you and Linda. Oh my goodness, he said that this, and he said that, oh, my wife is in the government, she going to school and blah blah blah, and my daughter, she's this and that. Yeah, she's married, she got children, she bought a house, she da da da. And I'm like, I wouldn't know that because he didn't share that.
He gonna brag a whole lot, and he gonna lie a whole lot too. So what you not gonna do is sit in his presence and think that you gonna brag about your children or whatever. But he didn't have a reason to lie to me. But when you said that day, you was like, he never said it. And I was like, yes, he did. I was like, well, to me, he did. He bragged about it. I mean, he did. He bragged about all of his kids. He did. And I just did not know that any of this stuff, and it's probably best that I didn't know, because though I like to say I'm a little bit more polished than my mom, but I got her DNA in me, and I'm just not, even though he was my dad, I wouldn't have let him do it, bump heads. It just would have been all of us. It would have been a total mess. But he never let me see any of that. And probably because we didn't know that. I promise you, my family, they thought this man, excuse my language, pissed ginger ale. They really thought this man pissed ginger ale. He was, and it's amazing, and I'll say this now, I don't know if it's going down in the DNA genes of the men in our family. And I don't want to put this out in the atmosphere because my grandson's sitting over there, so I hope it missed him. But the actual, the attitude, just the whole thought process, the self-entitlement, it is, and he didn't know him. I mean, he knew some of them they got a lot of his ways. They really do. So it is something about the DNA, and like I said, call me the curse breaker. I want it broken. It needs to flee, which means never to return again. But more than that, because I see you wearing it every day. And as long as that's why I ask you about the forgiveness. And not just say it with your mouth, but do it in your heart. Because once you do that, you would feel the sense of relief. You would feel the sense of freeness. Then you will be able to move on and to begin and to live your life. And it's so easy for people to say, girl, get over it. Your trauma is ultra weak. Some people take 2 years. Some people take 3 years. Some people never get over it. But my thing is, anything that I can share, or anything that any resources or anything that I can give you, because I want to see you free. I want to see the smile. I want to see, because I don't have a care in the world about nothing no more. I used to worry about everything. I used to worry and cry and sit. I don't care about anything anymore. I don't. For me, why would I care about something that I cannot control?
That's true.
Tracy's in charge of Tracy. The only thing, when something happens and I'm in it, Guess what I do? Back away, take a look at Tracy. I fix Tracy. It's not my problem to fix that, fix them, that's not my problem. Sometimes both said, our moms and him, one thing we do is we love hard. And that is a problem that we have. Sometimes there's no shut off switch. Yeah. There is no shut off switch with that. So we love hard, we give, and sometimes that can be hurtful when it's not reciprocated. Mm-hmm. So that right there really, that's been something that has been hurtful. But for me, I had to learn to raise my standards and lower my expectations. So I have no expectations of people anymore. Because when you start to have things that you expect from people, you'll always be heartbroken. So I live by the raise my and lower my expectations of you. Period. That's how I get through the day. Now sometimes I fuss or something because I'll give you chances and I'll give you a chance. I don't give you enough rope to hang yourself. But once you hang yourself, I'll still pray for you. Mm-hmm. I really will. I'll still pray for you. And probably if you call me and really need me, I'll probably be there for you. But once you kind of do something to hurt me, I won't say that I wash my hands, but I kind of, I'm kind of cautious about how I allow you back into my space. Because now I know what you're capable of. Yep. That's where I am. So once I know what you're capable of, my only job and I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for how I allow you to treat me. Mm-hmm. So put on you saying, you done this, I can't keep saying what you done to me, what this person done to me. I can't keep saying that. What I have to say is, what did I allow it? And when will I get tired? And not until then is when I will. So that's why I wanted to ask you about those two questions about the sharing of the background and have you actually forgiven him? If someone had to, because I heard you just a few minutes ago when I asked you, and that's always interesting to me, and it's always a question that kind of gets me stuck when people say, so tell me who you are, tell me a little bit about you. You can tell when we are, how can I say, when we are dealing with an identity thing. Because we go into talk, I'm a mother, I'm a this, I'm a that. And I had to think, and that came from a therapist. She asked me something one time about, what did Tracy like? And I was like, oh, I love for my family. She didn't ask me that. So that's and I like a disclaimer. I should have said that in the beginning. I am not a doctor yet. Okay, let's go there. Disclaimer, but that's homework for you to say the next time somebody asks you, who are you? I'm not going to let you go into it tonight, but you are more than just a mother. Not just, but you are more than a mother of two, a hairstylist. Those are title things. Find out who you are. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Okay, now, as a woman on your journey to healing from this trauma and this residue from your dad, is there anything that you feel that you can offer another woman or man that could be going through the same thing? And what could you offer them on how to take the power back and how to forgive and to begin to live their life and just start over?
That's a lot of questions all in one time.
Well, just answer one. What could you tell someone about what they can do to take their power back as a woman that's made the decision? I'm moving forward because you claimed it.
Make you first.
Okay.
I believe we sacrifice for our loved ones, children, your job, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's time to think it's okay to be selfish. Because a lot of times when you think about you, I mean me, you think, oh, I'm being selfish, so I got to do this for them first. But no, it's okay to do something for yourself first and not do it for others. Because they're going to have their time. And I just believe that you just be honest with yourself. One, be honest with yourself to see, do you want healing? Once you realize that, then that's where you begin. That's when I believe healing starts. Right. When you are honest with yourself as to what's happening with you.
And be patient.
Right, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Be patient with yourself and don't compare your healing journey with anybody else. Yep. Yours does not have a time. There is no time limit on your healing. Be patient with yourself. You may feel good today and you may wake up tomorrow, because these thoughts, these feelings, they're not going to disappear. Right. This is the life that you live. But definitely be patient with yourself. Yeah. Okay. What can you talk to them about forgiveness? Forgiveness,
you have to forgive from the heart and really say it, and then be like, my nerves. You don't really, you don't really forgive the person. Right. I had to go and forgive people. I even had to go as far as forgiving my sister, because we clashed at one point in time, but we didn't understand where we both oppositions. You understand? You coming from a person that has already healed and still healing. I'm at the beginning. And it's no way that we can understand each other. Right. So you got to learn how to forgive. And I say life is too short. People are dropping like flies. I've gone to so many funerals. I don't got time to be upset. And with this whole broadcast we're going to do, people are going to talk and they're going to say. And my thing is, I had a problem with pride. God broke me of that. Right. For me to go and ask anybody for help, anything with help, I would be outside before I ask anybody for any type of help. And God hates a prideful person. I don't want to say he dislikes a prideful person. He had to break me of that. Right. And I'm okay. I don't care. People talk about me, and you know what I say? I don't care. They talk about Jesus. Right. But one thing you're going to do, you're going to talk about me behind my back. Right.
And you're not both. It happens, and I too, that used to be something that bothered me, but once you know who doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me anymore. It just does not bother me. And as far as the broadcast, this podcast is for, hopefully, if someone is listening that is going through the same thing, and it's not just about it's the Heal for Real podcast, but we will be talking about healing from all types of grief, whether it is healing from a lost mom, healing from a divorce, healing from, as we said, about the trauma of a dad, healing from the death of someone, healing from just healing from loss of a child, healing from just separation anxiety, anything that is grief that you feel like that you can't heal from. We wanted to provide a safe place. You can't see it in here. We got chairs. We're going to have sofas. This is going to be a place, if you want to become my therapist is out there listening, that may hear your story and that may reach out to you and that may want to help you. Also, it may be somebody that may not be that probably can't afford a therapist right now, but they might can reach out to you and say, you know what, I heard what you said, but I've been going through this. We just want to create a safe place, a partnership, and a place where just a network of people that everybody wants to heal, because it's just so sad to live in a world where everybody is upset and angry, and it's because we're carrying this trauma baggage, and it's just so much, and that's why I wanted to do it, because I walk around now and I think, I've been called Captain Save a Lot. I've been called, because I think that I can heal everybody. And I mean, I really do. If you sit down with me long enough, because I promise you, I done been through, it ain't a whole lot that you can sit in here and tell me that you went through it that I can't tell you that I went through. You may not know it, because I can make it look good. Well, I used to make it look good, because now I'm going to break down the cry and tell you the whole truth, because I used to hide, put the makeup on, go to the party, have a good time, and come, and couldn't wait to get home and crawl up in the bed and cry about it. But like I promised God that, God, if you bring me out of this situation that I was in, I promise that I'll give you all the glory. And I'm not going to hide it, because this was not all of me. Yeah, I went to therapists and I went to that, but guess what? It took God to get me up out of that bed, because I'm not ashamed to say I had the suicidal thoughts. I had them. So I thank God that I am healed, set free, and delivered from it all now. And I believe, and I want every woman, every man, every child, anybody that I come in. So that's where I am with it. So, not sure how long we've been on here. This is my first time on here. I don't have a timer. I don't have anything. I promise I'm going to get better at this, though. But is there anything else that you would like to leave the people with this evening, or anything that you want to say?
I want to say that if you are dealing with something or carrying a burden, open up about it. Find someone that you can be safe with. Because I'm going to tell you, my safe person was my mom. Mm-hmm. Because I knew that she could hold all my secrets. Right. And not judge me. Right. But you have somebody that you can confide into, that you can let them know, this is what's happening to me, and this what is happening or has happened. And you somebody that won't say, oh boy, here she go, she crying again. You don't need that type of person. You want somebody that you can really truly lean on heavy and cry and always keep guard. If they don't listen, God always listens. Right. Because I'm going to tell you, 4 years ago, I was in a dark space. I lost my mother. I was losing everything. I thought I was going to lose my mind. But guess what? I'm not where I used to be. Right. And so what that song said, I won't complain. Right. People say, how you doing today? I can't complain. I really can't. Because I could be sick. I could be in a crazy place, but I'm not. I believe God is taking me through this for a reason. I'm a hairstylist. They talk to me, and they confide in me. And I said, you know what? You're going to be all right. Because I was where you were 4 years ago. Right. 4 years ago. And I believe I wasn't even driving. My son drove me for 2 years because I was afraid. Afraid of what? God said, I got you. So why are you afraid? So that is what I say. God, you say fear not. And there's 365 fear nots in the Bible. And I use them every day. I use them every day. So you open up so that you can heal. Because I had to open up so I can begin to heal and love me. Right. And put me first. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Thank you guys for joining. And stay tuned, because we will be having more guests, and you will be able to see them on Facebook. I'll be posting them as they come in. Again, thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.